Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tamlyn and this is Sewn on the Tyne. Now today's video is a little bit different. It's something that's been requested by a few people, including my very lovely mum, and that is a tour of my sewing space. So I may not always have a sewing room to myself, but for now I've got a very lovely space and I've made lots of little touches and personalisations that I just think make it a really lovely environment and space for me to be creative in. So I thought I would show you around and show you some of the things that are in it, the way I store things, and that's about it. So first of all, what I'm wearing, I have just come back from CrossFit, so hence the, appearance. So I'm wearing the Pinnacle sweater by Paper Cut Patterns, and I made it out of this lovely khaki sort of sweatshirt jersey which I bought in Amsterdam last year, and I love it. It's simple but effective and it's got huge cuffs and I quite like that. So I'll start at the door, the entrance to my sewing room, and as you can see it's got on there some bunting, and that's bunting that I made a few years ago at a workshop. It's made using vintage napkins and tablecloths, and I think it just looks really pretty. So that's on the door. I've also got a card on there from a subscription box that I subscribed to a while ago, which was called the Lucky Dip Club. Now I think they actually closed, they finished their subscriptions, but I loved getting that every month. So that's just got my initial on, T for Tamlyn, obviously. And then above that is my seamstress sticker from Pink Coat Club. So as you go into my room, as you can see, it's not huge, but I managed to fit quite a lot in it. So starting from what you can see on the left, I've got my mannequin. Now one of my friends bought me this for my birthday a few years ago. I don't actually know if it's my current measurements, I should probably check that, but I don't tend to use it for fitting. I just put on there maybe what I'm currently working on or something to have in the background of my videos. So on there at the moment is an Ogden cami in a beautiful Liberty viscose, which I got from Guthrie & Garney, and that Ogden cami just needs to be hemmed. That's the last step. So that's what's on there at the minute. And then above that I've got some postcards that came from Guthrie & Garney as well, and I got those when I went to the sewing retreat last summer, which I would highly recommend if that's something that you could attend. It was amazing, and to be honest that's kind of what has really kick-started my dressmaking and inspired me so much that I'm very grateful to Lauren and Layla, who were the teachers, and so I have framed the postcards because I just like the look of those. So then moving around from there, I've got the famous Ikea Kallax units, which I think most people who have their own sewing space have these units, but they're just so useful. So on top of the Kallax units, I've got lots of things that I've made at workshops. I've got cushions, clutch bags, purses. I've also got on there my old sewing machine, which served me very well, but last year I did upgrade, which you'll find out about later. And there's also a photo of me and my husband, I think that's about 2 months after we got together, which was 10 years ago, so we both look very youthful. Also up there are my beautiful wedding shoes. They're just incredible. They didn't stay on my feet for very long. I think I lasted about 2 hours in those shoes, and then I went barefoot for the rest of my wedding until I changed into Converse in the evening. And then also my handbag. So the handbag and shoes came from completely different shops, but they just work so well together. And also up there is my tailor's ham, and that's the top shelf of my unit. Then the next shelf down, the best bit, my fabric collection. And after my visit to Sew Your Own Wardrobe last week, I've been inspired to now organise my fabric by colour. So as you can see, we've got some sort of brown and reddy tones, florals. Then we've got lots of pink and sort of novelty cap print, that sort of thing. Then we've got blues, lots of different shades of blues. And then the last shelf is a bit random, so we've got some greens in there and some things that didn't fit anywhere else. Then moving down onto the next row, we've got lots of my quilting cottons. So I do quite a lot of making makeup bags and smaller projects or I did anyway, I haven't done so much recently, but I've got a lot of fat quarters of material, so that is in the first unit. I've then got my uncut patterns, well, quite a lot of my uncut patterns, and then some other bits and bobs, including my new bralette making kit from Sew Your Own Wardrobe. And then we've got another shelf of fabric, and this is fabric that is for upcoming blog posts or that I'm planning on using in the sort of next few days. So that's like imminent projects. And then I've got 2 layers of shelves underneath there with these floral drawers in. Now the first row of floral drawers contains sewing related things. So we've got maybe scraps of fabric, notions like zips, interfacing, and also a drawer of current works in progress or unfinished objects. And then the bottom shelf is actually non-sewing related stuff, so I am thinking of moving that elsewhere to make more space, but down there I've got things like wrapping paper, presents for people's birthdays that are coming up soon, random things like tickets and wristbands from gigs and festivals. So yeah, I kind of need to get those sorted out, but they're hidden away, so it's fine. I have a little gin. It's Thursday evening when I'm filming this, and therefore it's officially Thirsty Thursday. Cheers. So moving along from my Kallax unit, I've got a bookshelf, and on top of that is my makeup, because this is also the room that I get ready in. So on a morning when I come down to get ready, Sam's usually still in bed, and I come down and get ready in this room. So I'll put a YouTube video on my iPad and I'll do my makeup. So I've got my makeup storage here, then I've got my nail varnish storage, and then I've got a shelf of sewing books, and then I've got a shelf of patterns. I've also got some magazines in there as well. So Love Sewing magazine is the one that I subscribe to, but then I also get the odd Burda Style here and there, and La Maison Victor as well. Now when I said that there's patterns on that shelf, I store them in magazine files, and these are patterns, either PDFs or paper patterns that I've already cut and probably used as well. So I like to store those in a slightly different way. I don't like forcing the cut pattern pieces back into the envelope. It just gets a bit messy, and I wanted a different way to store it. So I store them in these plastic magazine files I got these from Wilko's. They're 40p each, and I think they're A4 size, but they're just absolutely perfect. So yeah, Wilko's is a store here in the UK, but I'm sure you could get this sort of thing anywhere. So as you can see, this is my storage for the Tilly and the Buttons Nora top. And what I do is I, first of all, use my trusty label maker to make a label to go on it. Now, I'll link everything down below so you can have a look, but I would highly recommend the label maker. It cost about £8 from Amazon. And the label maker is the Dymo. It's just this sort of, what I don't know what you would call it. It's the Dymo Amiga, but I just love the black tape with the imprinted letters that comes out. I think it's just really, not retro, but just cool. I like it. So yeah, I put a little label on to say what's inside there, so when it's in the magazine file you don't have to pull the whole file out to see. So that's Tilly and the Buttons, TATB, Nora. Then I cut the front of the pattern envelope and stick that on, and I use washi tape around the outside to stick that on. Then on the back, I cut the back of the pattern envelope out and stick that on with washi tape again. And then inside, so I'll open it up. Inside there is, just dropped a bit, the little instruction booklet, and then all of the cut pattern pieces. And I just find that it's so much easier than putting everything back in the paper envelope, but especially for patterns that you use quite often, I don't want them getting ruined or torn. So it's just, I find that a really useful way of storing them, and I would highly recommend it. So I think that's that section done now. So moving round, you will see my amazing wall of, or 2 walls, of prints and postcards and thank you notes and business cards. And this is where I stick anything that kind of inspires me or looks lovely. So you'll see lots of things like cards that come from fabric companies when I order from them, or things like Crafty Pinup when I ordered the pins from her, Foxglove and Field for the pattern weights, I've got on there some birthday cards that people have given me that I particularly like. So I've got the yoga for cat people. I love that one, obviously being a cat person. I've got a card that was from my mum and it says Crazy Cat Lady, but she loved the design on there and just it really reminded her of me. I've got on there lots of prints from Veronica Daily. Now I subscribe to the Veronica Daily Stationery subscription box, and that's £10 a month. It comes around the 1st or 2nd of each month and you get a lovely package with cards, postcards, stationery, sometimes wrapping paper, stickers, all sorts of things, and they have just the most amazing quotes on. So let's have a look at some of my favourites. Yeah, so I really like this one which says, "Do what makes you happy, otherwise WTF is the point of it all." Yeah, absolutely. I really like this one which says, "Be the obnoxiously bright, glorious effing rainbow you want to see in the sky." I really like that one. And "Life is short, be ridiculous, be magical, be vibrant, be kind, be whatever you bloody well want." I love that. So yeah, lots of inspirational quotes going on there. There's some gorgeous stickers from Wren and Wilson, like the "I love David Attenborough" sticker. That's just amazing. Yeah, just I love this wall. 2 walls. There's just so much lovely stuff on there. I also love this calendar, which is from Samantha Claridge, and yeah, it's got the most incredible illustrations on. I love it. I think it's called Signs of the Zodiac. Yeah. Signs of the Zodiac. So that's my inspiration wall. Then this is my desk, which is from Ikea again. So it's just a desktop and legs, and at one end it's got some drawers. So on my desk I've got a couple of sewing storage boxes. One of them has got ribbons, elastic, bias binding in, and then the other one, the Cath Kidston one, is full of buttons. So yeah, I love those boxes. I've got a little calendar that came with Love Sewing magazine, and I use that to plan out what videos I'm going to film. Don't necessarily stick to it, but the thought is there. Then moving around, I've got my Overlocker. Now I've got the Brother Lock 3034 DWT Overlocker. So I bought this after going, was it after I no, I actually bought this, I bought this Overlocker before I went to the sewing retreat at Guthrie and Garney, but then I was scared to use it. It just sat on my desk for a long time because I didn't dare use it. It just seemed so frightening. And then I went on that retreat, and the way that a couple of the other participants were using their Overlocker and the way that the tutors were using the Overlocker, I was like, whoa, it's not as scary as it seems. Like the speed they were going at, it was just incredible. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. So if you've got an Overlocker and you're too scared to use it, or if you haven't got one yet because you're a bit anxious, honestly, it's one of the best things I did. It's sort of transformed how I finish my garments. It means I can finish or make things really quickly, like anything in stretch can be made so quickly on the Overlocker. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. At the minute I've got black thread on mine, but I've also got rainbow thread. So this is the rainbow thread that I've got. I've got 4 cones of that. I'll leave a link down below to where I got it from. But again, I would highly recommend it, and it looks beautiful on the inside of your garments. So the jumper I'm wearing is actually overlocked on the inside. So there you go. It's overlocked with the rainbow thread, and I just think it's really pretty. Gives it a really interesting look. So then moving around from there, I've got a cutting mat. Now the cutting mat that I've got is the AO size. It's pink on one side, purple on the other. I bought it from Amazon. It only cost £24.99, which is an absolute bargain. I want another one so I can have pretty much my whole desk covered, but I'm just waiting for payday. Then I've got my windowsill, so it's really nice actually when I'm at my desk sewing, I'm looking out of the window. And on my windowsill I've got some overlocking thread, I've got some sewing storage, I've got my boxes with all my thread in. I've got my incredible pattern weights from Foxglove and Field, which if you haven't seen or heard about them, I'll link them below, but they are just wonderful and deceptively heavy. But I just love them, they're just the best. I need another set really because I've got a set of 6 and sometimes that's just not enough. So I will be invested in another set very soon. Then back to my desk, I've got my true love, my beautiful sewing machine. Now this sewing machine is the Brother Innovus F420. Now I bought this very much on the spur of the moment. I went to Guthrie and Garney's 3-day sewing retreat, which I've talked about many times, and the sewing machines that are in Lauren's workshop are these sewing machines. And going from using just a standard, non-computerized, very basic machine to then going to Lauren's workshop and using this machine was just incredible. It was so smooth. It was like a pleasure to sew. At the time, I thought it was incredible. You didn't have to use a pedal. You just pressed a button. Now actually now, I very rarely do that, but at the time and at the workshop, all I did was press the button and unpress the button? Press the button to start and press the button to stop. I don't know whether that was being lazy or what, but I just loved it. It was a novelty. But yeah, I love this machine. I am going to do a bit of a more detailed review of the machine and show you all of the different features, but I think it's well worth the investment. I think this is priced at around £599, but it's well worth it. And you can see I've adorned mine with more Pink Coat Club stickers. So moving round from there up to the right of my desk, I've got some more Ikea storage, and it is a pegboard, and on that pegboard I've got things like little tubs which I've got in my labels with my logo on that I sew into clothes. I've got safety pins, tailor's chalk, I've got spare machine needles, things like elastic, rotary cutter. I've got a sewing storage hoop which I made at a workshop, and in there I've got things like my fabric scissors, my pinking shears, fabric markers, that sort of thing. I've got hanging from it some labels, some zips, some ribbon storage, and then I've got some patterns, uncut patterns at the top there. And then underneath that pegboard I've just got a few of my favourite photos of me and some of my best friends and Sam and my mum on my wedding day, and then also some pictures of our beautiful cats. So we're nearly there. So the drawers in my desk, the top drawer stores things like pins, wonder clips, greaseproof paper, tape measures, that sort of thing, lots of sewing related things. The next drawer down has got lots of stationery in, so pens, rulers, blue tack, that sort of thing. Then the other drawers, there are 3 more drawers, and they've just got random things in really, like my label maker, some little snacks for if I get a bit peckish, some patterns that I'm not going to use and I need to sell or give away, some stickers, washi tape, that sort of thing, lots of random bits. And then moving round from there, I've got a huge bookcase, because if you've watched some of my other videos you might know that as well as sewing I love to read. So I've got a bookshelf absolutely full of books. Probably about 3/4 of them are books that I haven't read yet and I need to read, and the rest of them are special books that I want to keep because they mean something to me, or they're some of my favourite books that I've ever read. Also on that bookshelf I've got a whole shelf of baking books. Now I do love to bake, I just don't do it very often anymore, because when you bake you then have to eat what you've baked, and that's not so good for the old health and waistline. So I do love cake though, so I think I do need to do it a bit more, but I can't do everything. I want to read, I want to sew, I want to watch TV with my husband, I want to play with the cats, I want to go to CrossFit, I want to do all of the things, and there's not enough hours in the day really. Also on my bookshelves is some mini bunting, again, that I made at a workshop. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. It's just a little tour of my sewing space. I know that I'm very lucky to have my own room for sewing. I know that, this might not last forever. We are potentially in the next couple of years going to want to maybe start a family, and this room would then have to be used for that. But for now, I really, really love this space, and I love lots of the touches that I've sort of done to make it my own, and I find it very inspiring being in here. I do have to shut the cats out if I want to really get anything done, because they just love being in here, but then they tend to scratch at the door and demand my attention, which is cute. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like any more information on any of the things that I've mentioned, please just comment down below, and I will leave links to as much as I can, as much as I can remember or as I can find online to link to if you'd like to buy any of it for yourself. So thank you for watching, thank you for supporting me. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to hear when my next video will be up. I hope you're well, and I hope you're having a lovely day whatever you're up to. Happy sewing. Bye. Funny. Sam, I'm done.